Hi there. I'm Don. It's late. I'm up. Hi. Thank you for joining me again for another late night edition of the watch party show that is called Night Owl Movie Talk. I am your host, Don, the OG Night Owl. Tonight, I thought we would watch a movie that's people ask me about all the time, and particularly because it has to do with a show called Night Owls. So, when you host a late night show about night owls and there's a movie with a people with late night show called Night Owls, people are going to ask you about it. But this movie in general is been super popular. Unfortunately, it's hidden away behind the Shudder paywall. So I don't know, it might be available on home media. But if you have it on home media, let me know in the comment section. But this is one that I'll be watching on Shudder. Oh, there she is already. Mayenne. Nice to see you, dear. Mayenne and I have been dating all night. She was with me earlier when I was live on Mr. Bones' channel. Mr. Bones and mine's watch along of Machete, the follow up to the Grindhouse features, is pinned at the top of the chat. So if that's something you're interested in checking out, be sure to check that out, or at least subscribe to Mr. Bones so you can catch up with other streams he and I have done together, as well as the many times Mayenne has joined a stream. So the Boneyard is a place where we've all learned to congregate, just like I'm glad you all congregated here today to watch this with me. Today to me. But not only is Mayan here, but so is Ginger Ninja JK. Hey, how's it going, Jason? It wouldn't be a party without my friend Jason. We're bringing him in from all over the globe tonight. I'm watching on Shudder. All right, thank you. Have you ever seen this before, Mayan? This movie has been very popular as far as one of the, I don't know, probably in the last 6 months, it's one of the more popular horror movies people have been talking about and have been interested in. It had a limited theatrical release. It was actually in theaters for a while, but it wasn't like one of those Netflix deals where it's only out for like a day in some theater in California, so it qualifies for awards. Like this is an actual released. And then it came to Shudder, and it's been living there. It was released on 4/20 weekend. I always remember that because I was like, good timing, guys. But this is a movie about late night talk shows in the 1970s and how one of the shows has a person who brings on a live exorcism, and things go wacky. My friend Pap is here. Nate, Pap. He was lurking in there. Pat Master did drop by. The Pat Master song played. Pap. Pap is Nate is my guy. He's a fashion model in addition to being a kind soul. So be sure to check out his work modeling boneyard stuff. Well, also Cinephile Sanity, Sean is here. Welcome, my friend. Sean's always a late night owl with us too. Man says pap, 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 pap. So we all know the Pap song. It's taken over. Ginger Ninja. Folks are saying hello. It's always nice when folks pile in and greet each other. That's one of my favorite parts. Late night with all of you devils, right? So yeah, I think this one kind of works perfectly. We're up late at night. It's a movie about late night. I host a talk show called Night Owls. This is about a talk show called Night Owls. It all just goes together, right? Mayan says, yes, she saw this the other night. Excited to see it again. I've only seen this one once, but I've been in like 5 conversations about it since I've seen it. Like people are like really want to pick my brain on it and want to tell me what they liked and didn't like. General consensus among the fans, the people in the horror community, is it's very good, and then the ending is a bit. The critics, however, are loving it. Let's see, what do we got going here with the critics? It is a 7.1 out of 10 on IMDb, 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's, I believe, the audience score, right? Let's check. Yes. 97% on critic scores, 81% audience score. So 97% critic score. That's pretty damn impressive. But 81% audience score feels more like what I keep bumping into when I talk about it with people. Metacritic has it as 72%. So as you can see, it's been popular. 90% on Google. So Google is usually is better for rating movies newer, because unless it's old, folks don't go back to rate it. So 90% is pretty good. 9 out of every 10 people give it a thumbs up. It is currently playing on Shudder, which is I'm going to watch it on. It's on the AMC Plus, Shudder, IFC, Essentials, etc. conglomerate channel. So I thought we would watch that tonight. It's only an hour and 32 minutes. You know how I like them. I like them quick. You get in and out. You get to see get your story, get your point told, and then get out. Right. So tonight, if we put this on here in a few minutes, we'll be done by a little after 3 a.m. Central Time. So that's not too bad. Just enough for all my people to fall asleep and all my folks across the pond to be popping up and saying good morning. Don Mega, Nate, you. Pat, man, Ginger Don, everybody knows that. About freaking time, I was waiting in limbo. Lamonia demonia. Hero to all who encounter her words. A chat stream must. If you're a person who does live streams, you figure out a way to pay Lamonia to get there, because this woman, she sets it off, dog. No, Lamonia's the homie. I enjoy damn near everything she says. Except earlier when she told me my butt was too small. How dare you? My butt is too small. It hurts. It's sitting in a chair is going to make it sore. The girls like my backside. Yeah, pap. They really need to do this on Jimmy Kimmel or whatever it is now. David Letterman, Jay Leno, they still doing talk shows? Yeah, I haven't watched talk shows in years, which is weird because I used to be a talk show junkie. You know, when you're up in the middle of the night, you know you're going to be awake till 4 and 5 a.m. Those shows that come on at 10:30 and 11:30, those are godsends. And then those would lead you into the late night movie. So I love me some late night talk shows. I was always a David Letterman and Conan O'Brien guy. Bob Costas used to have a show way late at night that I would watch sometimes. That was fun. This is more of a kind of a amalgamation of stuff that was around in the 70s. So it's supposed to kind of be a rival to the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. They talk about that like he's competing with ratings with Carson. But I feel it's kind of like Merv Griffin-ish, a little bit Dick Cavett. If you remember Dick Cavett show, I'm going way old here on you guys. There used to be this cat, Tom Snyder, who had late night talk show. These were more like Tom Snyder and Bob Costas were more like one-on-one convos. Lamonia. Everybody loves Lamonia. See what I mean? I told you guys. The ending is open to interpretation. Yeah, I will talk about it when we get there. If you haven't seen this before, I recommend you watch it. This is a movie that plays to a surprise ending or a twist ending or things that it appears isn't necessarily what's going on, whatever you want to say. But there's so much in it that's worth talking about and worth remembering. A lot of nostalgia in here, especially for fans of old school late night talk shows. It is, Ginger. I actually liked it. Yeah, to me, I didn't hate the ending like most folks did. A lot of people were very unhappy with the ending. They wish it was 10 minutes shorter. I didn't hate it. It was an ending. It left us on, you're supposed to have sort of a big like rah at the end, and it's a big rah at the end, but it's I don't know. I think they also kind of knew that there had to be some answer to what was going on the screen that was maybe realistic. I don't know. We'll talk about it when we get there. Don, I see you switched beanies. I did. I wanted to be able to tell the difference between this stream and the Machete stream. Otherwise, I would get confused too. Speaking of the Machete stream that I watch with our friends, Mr. Bones, as you can see, it is pinned to the top of the chat over here. So be sure to check that out, or at least save it for later and check that out some other time. If you haven't seen this movie before, go there and watch that, or else go to my channel and watch last night's stream of Big Trouble in Little. Or last night's stream was They Live. 2 nights ago was Big Trouble in Little China. I've been carpentering it up, dog. LOL, gotta have Lamonia here, right? That's what I'm saying. She's between you two, that's what I need. It's I got Mayanne, I got Lamonia, I got Jason, I got everybody I need to ride with. I got Pap's Love, I got I'm sure Mr. Bones will drop by. Oh, I always said that. I was talking about the nun. She had no culo. I know. I was teasing you. Actually, when it first popped up, I was like, why are you picking on my butt, Lamonia? And then I was like, oh, you're picking on old white girl's butt. Yeah, her cakes were kind of lacking. She needs to hit up the Culvers. Come on carpool with the devil. That's a good one where people just sit the devil and sing as they're driving around. Shout at the devil. Sorry, that was the only devil song I can think of right off the top of my head. Do a countdown, Don, so we can sync up. I will. Like I said, I'm going to watch this on Shudder. So for those of you who are joining us now, feel free to jump into Shudder and dig through it and find Late Night with the Devil. It's currently the most popular movie on Shudder and maybe AMC Plus. So it's right on the home landing page. It's not as hard to find as Room 237, which I watched 2 nights ago. I had to jump through a bunch of hoops to find that on this app. Glad you're watching this. I'm hard at work, but I had to drop by. I enjoyed this movie. I wish they'd use practical effects throughout. We'll talk about the effects. There's actually a controversy regarding some of the shots and effects, whatever you want to call it in this. Hello, Mitch. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know my friend Mitch. He's been hanging out lately with the channel for these late night talks. I met Mitch on Instagram. He's another film lover. He's part of the community. So I encourage you to welcome Mitch to the community with open arms. I think he picked up a few new subscribers last time he jumped on. So it's nice to have Mitch here. And also last time Mitch sent us a really cool picture of Big Trouble in Little China shirt that he saw at WrestleMania. So, Mitch be bringing the heat. Oh, hello, Karen. Welcome. Hi, guys. I like this one. Don, they stole your name for the show. Night Owls. Thank you, Karen, for standing up for me. Actually, before this came out, a couple people messaged me on Instagram with screenshots from this movie saying, "Did you know that there's a Night Owl show in this?" And I was like, I didn't, but they'll be hearing from my attorney, by God. Let's see here. Folks are welcoming each other. I always like that. And welcome, Karen. For those of you not familiar with Spirits and Screams, also a great member of the horror community. She's always doing cool reviews and interviews, and she's always having folks on for watch-alongs. And Karen is a true OG. We love her. Welcome, Spirits and Screams. Hey, Miss Man. Oh, and there he is. Morning, Gareth, Video Tasties. Gareth, have you seen this one? I didn't know if you had Shudder or not, or I didn't know if I actually asked if this was on physical media. You might be the person to answer that. You or Cinephile Sanity is usually pretty damn good about knowing what's up with what. Video Tasties. Hello. Folks are welcoming each other. Hi, Mayan. Good. I hope you're having a good night. Hi, Gareth. Hola, Mitch. I'm good, Lamonia. Got, let's see here. Spirits and Screams. I'm good, Lamonia. I got to work tomorrow, but then 3 days off. So, yay. Right on. Woo-woo. I'm very grateful. It's inspired me to do a live at some point when I have a bigger following. Just start, Mitch. You'll build your following through it. I think I started doing live streams somewhere around 500, and a good 100 or so have at least come from just these live streams. So they're a great way to meet people. Something about being on live makes folks feel like that you're not editing around the stupidity. So in my case, that's not always the best thing, but at least it keeps you on your toes. You never know what my dumbass is going to say. Mitch Cassidy, how you doing? Glad to meet you here. Yeah, that's the same. Nate is awesome. If you're going to be friends with anybody here, be friends with Nate. You can call Nate at any time and be like, I need you to help me murder something. He's like, I'm on my way, bro. No, I'm just kidding. Nate is far too kind of an individual to participate in murder. Let's see here. Not seen it, but haven't heard if it's on VHS. Yeah, our friend Video Tasties is primarily a nostalgia collector. He enjoys his VHS and his pre-thousands. Every now and then I catch you. Have you done anything past 2000? It seems like you haven't. Maybe you have. But our friend Erica is here. EA Horror. Welcome, Erica. I didn't bring you up there. So nice to have you. I won't even sing the song this time. I feel bad. Every time I see you, I sing the song, and you're such a sweet, kind, funny person. I shouldn't be associating with sweaty genitals. I think I just did the same thing there. Sorry. Sub to Mitch. There we go. Look at us getting Mitch some pub. I like it. Hey, Lamonia. All right. Man. Oh, hey, 59th Survivor of VHS is here. A friend I believe I met through Gareth and some of the other folks overseas. He's always real knowledgeable about stuff that goes back that I'm into. So actually, you'd probably be good at helping me talk about some of the old-timey crap in this. Let's see here. Erica cracks up at the sweaty genitals comment. Good. Thank you. I'm glad. But I've almost got the Swamp Kitty dance down. Swamp Kitty. That's my jam. I'll be up in the club doing that. It has been released on VHS in Australia, PAL, and NTSC. I figured it would have had to have been a home media release because it had a theatrical and it did relatively well in theatrical. Let's find out. It did. I'm not getting the box office is 11.5 million, but I'm not getting a budget. Hate when they do that to me. Let's see if they have a budget here. Nope, box office 11.5 million. Like I said, it was a limited release though, because this is primarily a movie they intended to play on Shudder. It's a Shudder exclusive, and it was called Diabolically Good Fun by the New York Times. The description is, in this critically acclaimed hit starring David Dastmalchian, that's a hard name to pronounce, a live television broadcast in 1977 goes horribly wrong, unleashing evil into the nation's living rooms, which isn't exactly what happens, but it sounds better. Their story they're telling, I'd kind of like to see that movie. This one's a little bit different movie, but it's fun. Folks are welcoming 59. Cool. I thought it was the type of film that would. Yeah, I would think that it would have to be on home media because I'm sure it's probably like on Amazon Prime or one of those places that lets you buy movies for or rent movies for $4 or whatever. But if you're gonna do that, might as well just drop the $6.99 or whatever to get AMC Plus for the month. 85.54 United States dollars for the VHS. Or wow, that's steep though. 68.47 pounds. Nice. That's a bit thin for my liking. I like them a little thicker. You know what I mean? Give those pounds some milkshakes. Let's see here. I'm also ginger, so this is a favorable situation. So there you go. Look at everybody just making connections. Well, it is 1:45 in the AM morning, so I think we should get started. I apologize to those of you who haven't seen it, and most likely I will probably just be rambling the whole time and won't spoil too much until we get to the end. So I'm going to go ahead and press play on 3, 2, 1, play. Did it work? It's just sitting there staring at me. Now it works. Okay, good. All right, so the little scrolly bar is rolling. Late Night with the Devil. Here it comes. Oh, they're going to hit me with a commercial. These sons of bitches. Yeah, this did this to me before. Some Shudder ones have commercials, even though I thought I had the non-commercial plan. But what they do, it's usually just a commercial for something on Shudder or AMC Plus. This one's only a 30-seconder up front. So we'll see if they have any others beyond this. They better not. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and here's the movie starting finally. By gosh. This is an IFC Films. So if you're a fan of IFC Films, some people just like the IFC brand. Maybe if you have the IFC channel on your local cable or digital satellite provider, you'll get it. Also with Shudder. I don't know if they've played it on the live Shudder or not. I never watched live Shudder. I only watched the streaming channel, the on-demand version. Image Nation, Abu Dhabi. Interesting funding people there. So there's a studio I've never heard of, but apparently they have money from Abu Dhabi. Shout out to them. And another, wow, this is for Vic Screen. In general, when you're watching a movie and they have a whole bunch of, here's another one too. Oh my God. When you have a whole bunch of those little title cards at the beginning, Lionsgate, Silver Dune, Platinum Dunes, whatever. Here's Good Fiend Films. See, we're on like our 5th or 6th title card. That's generally a tip-off that the movie's not going to be good because they had to go out and find multiple sources of funding, like as opposed to like 20th Century Fox, which will be just 20th Century Fox and the movie starts. And Cinetic or Kinetic, I think it's Cinetic because it's supposed to be like a movie, cinema. Oh, dear Lord. Now AGC. So we are on what? Our 8th title card? Wow, that's a lot of funding. They were struggling to scrap this together. That's probably why the budget wasn't available. Future Pictures. Oh, dear Lord. So we're almost up to like 10. That is a lot of title cards or production company cards. And Spooky Pictures. Now we're at 10. Holy shit. I didn't realize. The first time I watched this didn't jump out at me like that. But yeah, start the movie and then go make yourself a drink. Hey, it's finally starting. What do you know? The movie starts off with kind of a cool like prologue deal. It's a little like mini documentary that explains the backstory. They explain kind of all the little different things that will play into this. You know, they show how it's the 70s and it's post Watergate, post Vietnam, et cetera, other gas crises, everything that's going on in the late 70s, and how that's kind of getting into the country as a whole psyche. You know, Richard Nixon's just left office, and Patty Hearst and the Manson murders. There's David Berkowitz. But they also go into this whole thing about black magic rituals and what's it called? Bohemian Grove. That's like, if you're into conspiracies, I'm sure you've heard of Bohemian Grove, but that's like essentially a place where super rich and powerful people, mainly politicians, on both sides, go to this like big thing where I think they burn an owl. Maybe they burn something. They do like a Wicker Man type deal, and it's kind of a cult. So folks are fascinated by it. If you're into Alex Jones, which I'm not, he's a huge Bohemian Grove fanatic. And the show finally starts. Night Owls with Jack Delroy. As I said, this guy's stealing my stuff, and I'm going to have to sue him. Let's see what else we got in here before I start talking about David Dastmalchian. Let's see where we're at here. Yep, but it comes with frozen yogurt. The yogurt is also cursed. What is everyone's favorite VHS they own? Ooh. Probably the Ewok Adventure, Battle for Endor. I don't know. My favorite VHS, there's so many good ones. I don't know. I'd have to think about that one for a while. I may get back to you in the middle. That may pop up later. I know you're at work, so you'll have to watch it again to find out. Let's see here. Hey, if that's VHS, talking about new things on VHS, they're releasing Terrifiers in this format new. I know there are specific, like, I don't know if they're YouTubers or what, like on Instagram, I see people all the time advertising these movies that are brand new, but on VHS with covers. And I always kind of wondered, are they like, is the movie really in there? Or are they just making the cover? Because you can't illegally distribute movies. That's the whole warning that used to be at the front of VHSs, illegal pirating. But I know there's a subsection of boutique internet people who make their own VHSs to sell. So they're explaining how Jack Delroy, his plight, how he became popular, and he was competing with Johnny Carson, and he had married this woman, and they fell in love, and they had this romance that was all in like People magazine and stuff. And then she gets sick and passes away, and that's one of the little like sub stories that runs throughout this. Is he wishes he could talk to his deceased wife. So obviously, when an exorcism happens and they're trying to communicate with the dead, that that's someone he would want to talk to. So here they're talking about the Bohemian Grove. Here they just call it the Grove, and they kind of insinuate that maybe Jack Delroy is doing he's involved in the occult in some way or another, so he sort of brings this on himself. Let's see here. I don't own a single VHS, unfortunately. I have several hundred. That's why I was trying to think of what my favorite one is. That's a toughie. Because they're all movies I like, and they're all movies I eventually got on DVD or Blu-ray later. How about Scooby-Doo meets the Harlem Globetrotters? I have that in like a clamshell. That's pretty cool. So now, they're just going through this little quick montage up front where they explain who Jack Delroy is, and they explain like how when his wife passed away, he went into seclusion, and then he came back, and because of his wife passing away, that he got a ratings boost of people who were sort of like backing him. They also kind of insinuate that maybe her cancer diagnosis is connected to him and his occult stuff, whether she got it from that or he was going to the occult to try to cure her or what. They don't really get into, but Jack Delroy is played by David Dastmalchian. Very hard to spell. Powerful word on the Scrabble board. Dastmaltian, I think. I mainly know him. I recognized him right away when I saw this because he's in The Dark Knight. There's a part where there's a bunch of cops outside, and one of the cops opens fire, and the Joker's dressed up as a cop too. And they show one of Joker's henchmen, and it's David Dastmalchian. I think my favorite thing I ever saw him in is he's Polka Dot Man from Suicide Squad, the James Gunn one. Is that the Suicide Squad or Suicide Squad? I forget. I get them confused. That's stupid they did that. But he's Polka Dot Man. So if you've seen the James Gunn Suicide Squad, you'll know that he kind of steals the movie in his own way. Let's see here. Ninja, howdy, broski. Commercials on Shudder? Yeah, it was just a commercial for something on AMC, like an AMC show. But it has the 1 of 1 up in the corner. So that's what makes me think. Like I say, there's also a $6.99 plan. I think I have the $9.99 plan. So maybe I get only AMC commercials instead of all commercials. So he comes out, and it's the Halloween episode of the show. So consider this a Halloween movie. That's part of the reason I think this is doing so well with people, is it hits a lot of popular notes. Right, like it's got occult stuff with Exorcist. It's got some medium stuff. It's got medium as in people who talk to the dead. I don't know what size it is, but that was a terrible joke. I apologize. But it's the Halloween episode, so the folks in the crowd, a lot of them are in costume, and it's a lot like name that deal. Let's Make a Deal. Is that what it was called? They used to have these game shows in the 70s, and people in the crowd would dress up. Price is Right and stuff. So the studio audience of his Halloween special, one of them is the skeleton mask, the Silver Shamrock Halloween 3. Like it's the exact same one. I'm surprised somebody somewhere didn't try to sue him. Let's see here. I have an OG Dawn of the Dead and Star Wars Episode 4 original not released. Mitch Cassie. Yeah, I have Star Wars episode Phantom Menace, which I know nobody likes, but that one was a special collector's edition that came with an actual clip of film, like a film that was out in theatrical release. So they would clip like 4 frames and then put it inside a collector's card or whatever. So that Phantom Menace set people always ask me about because it comes in the big weird gaudy box and it has an actual piece of film inside of it. Now, I'm trying to remember. Right now, it's in 4:3. We've talked about that before. Most movies are 16:9. That's the rectangle I'm sitting in right now. But old school TV up until like the year 2000 roughly was all letterboxed, so it would be a square or a 4:3. So it was squared, and that's what this movie has been in right now. I'm trying to remember if they keep it like this the whole time. They do really interesting things with the camera work. They shoot it like a TV show, but then when they go to commercial break, they'll show like the people talking, backstage. And I think that's maybe in black and white. Like I said, I only saw this once, but I remember it has a different look to it than the rest of the film. And they're doing a little bit of like the Grindhouse thing. As I said, Bones and I just watched MACHETE tonight, and we watched Planet Terror last Tuesday, and before that, he and I each watched Death Proof. So I've kind of been Grindhouse moving it a little bit, and they're sort of doing that same thing because this is supposed to be on TV. Like the screen rolls every now and then, or you get a little bit of static up in the corners. Kind of cool. It's an interesting way to show it. Let's see here. I have that OG Dawn of the Dead too, by the way, Jason, as long as I'm looking at your comment. I don't own any VHS either. Yeah, VHS is one of those things where unless you're nostalgic for it from the time, like for me, it was around my whole life. I remember when I saw my first VHS. So I still have a bunch from when that was the only medium available. And then when VHS converted over to DVD, a lot of stores blew out all their VHS. A lot of rental stores blew out all their VHS. I used to go to a video store that had VHSs 3 for $1. So yeah, I accumulated a ton of VHS because people just thought that they were trash, and it was like, just keep them. Trust me, there'll be a nostalgia for them because they're cool. They something about holding that big heavy clunky box and open it up and lifting up the little door over the tape and everything. It's fun. Oh, let's see here. Oh, I have an Italian PAL release of Stanley Kubrick's A Clockwork Orange. Has the original certificate as well. Full nudity on the black cover. That does sound Italian. Yeah, I have A Clockwork Orange, but I don't think it's any kind of fancy deal. Warner Brothers release. Wow, 10 titles. Yeah, exactly. That title card section up front was ridiculous. Usually if you see 2 or 3, that's a bad sign. I've never seen 10 before. That was absurd. It's crazy how many title cards I had. I was thinking that too. Yeah, that's what I mean. Generally, that's a funding issue. You keep trying to find different people who will put in money. A lot of times after you make the movie, you can still get producers. Like Tom Cruise bought the movie Narc after it had already been out. It was like produced by Tom Cruise, even though he saw it in the theater. I don't think that's what producing means, but I may be wrong. But a lot of times, like if you can get out in some festivals, South by Southwest, Sundance, Cannes, whatever, and you get eyes on it, there will be people who will help pay you to distribute it. Other times you might sell like the distribution rights to another country early to try to get money to help finance the film. So when you see so many cards up front like that, it's usually a tip off that they were having money problems. But then again, their star of their movie's a relative unknown. I mean, David Dastmalchian, he's kind of a that guy actor right now, but he's not, a big name star. If this was, Late Night with the Devil starring, I don't know, Channing Tatum or some crap, it would do much better, but it just wouldn't be as good of a movie because this guy's a way better actor. They've gone plaid, right? That's what I said when I first saw this, Don. So many names. Yeah, it's crazy. I forgot the first time I saw it. I think I put it on and was kind of like getting settled in, so I wasn't paying close attention to the title cards up front, but that's too many. What a fantastic one that is. Oh, the Clockwork Orange, yes. New comments. Let's see where we're at here. Boy, lots of folks hanging out tonight. I like it. Wow, so many folks. Looks like Kal-El Daly's here. Hello. Wow, man. Yeah, nice to see you guys. Cal says, hello, everyone. Welcome, Cal. Nice to see you, buddy. He was here last night for our watch along of They Live, and we stayed for a good 20 minutes after the movie and talked to horror directors. We were trying to figure out who our top 3 were. So if you can figure out who your top 3 horror directors are, feel free to put those in the chat or the comments. It was a roundabout discussion where we tried to get to the bottom of. Mainly, it was just trying to remember all of them. There's so many. Oh, Echo Zero. Where is Echo? Oh, there he is. The ghost of Echo's past is here to haunt you. See, sometimes somebody else will tip me off that you guys are here. Karen says the very first VHS she ever purchased was The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. I ordered it on Columbia House back in the day. Yeah, Columbia House was the hookup. They used to do the 12 CDs for a penny. And then when home media movies got popular, they started doing like the, whatever it was, 5 movies for a penny or whatever. But really it was a scam, because then after that you got sent one a month and they would hit you for regular price, probably $29.99 or something. Let's see. 59th Survivor of VHS tells Erica to get some. I'm assuming he's talking about the VHSs, but maybe he's just telling her to get some. Everybody, that's good advice for everyone. Hey, go get some. Mayan's telling everyone to sub to everyone here, folks. Yes, indeed. Everyone here has a Don seal of approval. I've yet to see anybody who I would tell you stay away from them. Let's see here. Song of the South bootleg. Oh, that's a crazy one, because Song of the South is like, I don't think you can even get it in America anymore. Has lots of like racial undertones and stuff that a lot of folks find offensive. Let's see here, folks welcoming each other. I have an idea what the 70s were like. This movie makes me feel like I was there. Yeah, it does a really good job of being a period piece. They do this so smart. That's one of the things I really like about this movie is normally when you do a period piece, it's incredibly complicated because you have to go get cars that match the era, or you have to track down all the suits and, get licensing to music and stuff. So it's so like expensive to make a movie that isn't made now. But this one, because it's in a studio, they really only have to build a 70s looking studio and track down a couple of wardrobe pieces for the people in it. And then suddenly we're in the 70s. Right now, this is one of the parts that grabbed me right away with this movie, and I sort of dug it. They're bringing on this medium to contact the dead. I forget what his name is in the movie. He is... let me see. He has some funny name. He is Christo. So Christo comes on, and he's doing the John Edward thing. Are you guys familiar with John Edward? He was this crazy medium. He used to come on TV. He had a show on the Sci-Fi Channel called Crossing Over with John Edward. And he is this I don't know, he gets on my nerves because he was basically bilking people out of money. But he would come on and he would say, like, I see someone in the chat is hurting. I sense one of you is hurting, and one of your relatives is here. Does anyone in the chat have an M? Do any of you start? I'm getting a strong M. Are one of you an M? And then Mayanne will be like, my name's an M. And then Mikey's Morg will be like, but my name's an M. Right? So basically you just say something very vague and hope the other people start filling in the spaces. And then he starts telling them, about how I'm talking to your mother or your lost wife or whatever. And that's why I say it pisses me off, because he's taking advantage of people who are hurting in a desperate space. So the cat on here is kind of doing the John Edward bit, but really he's referring back to, in the 70s, this was all super popular stuff. And there was this dude named Uri Geller, I believe his name was. And he was a famous medium and psychic, and he would come on and read people's minds, and he would do tricks like he would hold a spoon and then shake it, and the end of the spoon would just fall and break off. And it'd be like, how did he do that? Amazing, whatever. So yeah, he's supposed to kind of be that dude because this is the 70s. And then frequently when Uri Geller would go on shows and do his psychic routine, his foil was this dude named James Randi, the amazing Randy. And he was kind of the predecessor to Penn and Teller. Like he was a dude who debunked stuff, and he was a magician who showed you how he did his tricks. And he was basically just trying to show that magic isn't real; it's all in your imagination or whatever. He's a kind of a grounded person. So this movie has a James Randi guy come on, and point out all the ways that Christow is full of crap. And then later on, when a woman comes on and has a possessed child, the amazing Randy character is there to, like, constantly debunk it. Like, oh, they're tricking you this way or they're doing that. And then they show how they're not. And that's part of the tug of war back and forth in this movie. But I don't think you even need to know who James Randi or Uri Geller and all those people are to understand all this. Most people recognize a huckster when they see one. Oh, let's see here. Let's see what's going on with the chat as I take a break from Uri Geller. LOL, Cal, I managed to cross-reference my survival horror game collecting PS1, PS2, Silent Hill, Revel, you name it. The fourth Survivor is an insane bonus game. And Resident Evil 2, that's 59th Survivor. I was wondering how you got that name. Thank you for asking, Cal. Now I know. No idea what. Yeah, I understood what you meant, May. You're far too young of a sweet, precious angel to been around in the 70s. Don, this is the first time you're watching this. Welcome, Mikey's Morgue, my friend Mikey. We're still planning a naked stream. This is the second time I've seen this. But like I've been saying, people want to talk to me about it. This is probably the most, out of all the horror movies I've seen in the last 6 months or so, this and Skinamarink are the ones people want to discuss with me. And Skinamarink is a weird conversation. So this one, however, there's a lot to talk about. Mayanne also wanted something scary. So I feel like this is scary. And I've kind of been doing this weird thing lately where I watched a Carpenter film and then I watched an IFC original, The Room 237. And then I watched a Carpenter film and now I'm watching another IFC film. So I'm kind of doing the old Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, one for them, one for me deal. Like, I'm doing stuff that I know other folks will like, but I'm also mixing in stuff that I find interesting and maybe a little smaller. I love movies because of that, man. I feel as though I understand the 70s better having watched so many Vietnam War movies. I wholeheartedly agree. When I was a kid, I didn't like period pieces as much, but now I love anything that like shows the Old West and you get an idea of how things worked, or there's like a John Adams miniseries on HBO, and that's like historically awesome. Like, you get to see so much stuff and learn so many things. I like to read, but in general, if you can present something with moving pictures, I'm more likely to absorb it and appreciate it more. So a good movie or documentary about a period really helps me feel like I understand it more. So here's Christow's having an attack. He's overwhelmed. I'm getting the name Minnie. Does anyone here know a Minnie? Does anyone mean anything to the studio? And they're all looking around confused. See what I mean? That's the thing. And then now he's changing it to Millie or Mandy. That was always the John Edwards trick. I'm getting a D, a strong D. Is there a Dan or a Don? Maybe a David? Are any of you a David? It's like, somebody here is going to be one of those. Shit. Survivor, Mikey. So there we are, everybody saying hi. The intro explaining his backstory is really good in this movie. I saw some critics of it, but I don't get it. It's set up nicely without feeling rushed or lazy. Well, I kind of wanted to keep my eye out for it, but I think it was mostly all in the beginning. This movie came under a lot of flack because some of the still images they use in it to like show old historical pictures and stuff, they used AI for. So a lot of people are very anti-AI right now, obviously, because it takes work away from artists. And if, computers do stuff, it basically they get work for free instead of paying some artist to create the work like they used to. So we just got done with a whole bunch of strikes with directors and writers and et cetera in Hollywood. And okay, I was right. I called it. The regular show is in 4:3 format. And then when they go to backstage or in between commercials, it goes to 16:9, but it's in black and white. So basically the commercial or the time in between segments feels like it's in a different world. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Second movie I've watched in a row where they use black and white for an effect. Last night on They Live, they used black and white to show that people have the glasses on. So like I say, this movie's come under fire with some of that stuff up in the front with AI imagery, so I don't know if you have thoughts on AI, feel free to go off on it or say who cares or whatever, but I'm in between. I've used AI for stuff before just to see how it works, but I also see how it does stuff in seconds that would have taken me days. So folks are welcoming each other. Mikey Morg says he still has all of his VHS tapes. Yeah, I don't believe I fell into the trap at first when DVD came out. Stuff that I had on VHS and then I got on DVD. I gave the VHSs away to people because so many folks still had the VCRs. But then afterwards, I greatly regretted it. However, a lot of those people remained friends over the years. So when they got rid of their VHS collection together, I took it back. So I basically would trade a VHS for like 4 years to get 50 back. Some of this stuff with the 70s talk show also reminds me of Joker, the Joaquin Phoenix one, where at the end with the whole Robert De Niro, Mark Maron, King of Comedy sort of stuff going on in it. This has a little bit of vibe of that in it as well. Folks, I still watch my VHS. Yeah, I almost never watch my VHS. I think I might have a few things that are only on VHS, but in general, I pretty much only watch digital or streaming or DVD, Blu-ray, whatever. But I do still have the old, whatever. I think I have a 17-inch one with the VCR underneath it. The most common one's the 13-inch, the little guy, but I have like a big, heavy, sharp one with the VCR attached to the bottom of the TV. Let's see here. Quality not a deal with me. Yeah, to me, it is to me because I like seeing the many presentations of a film. So I grew up watching everything on TV and VHS and cable was always in whatever 480p or whatever the hell it was. So when stuff started coming out in HD or later in digital, I had to go back and rewatch it all again because I wanted to see the different version. Even now, if you told me something was in HD that I'd never seen in HD, I might just flip it on to see how it looks, how the transfer turned out and stuff. But fortunately, I watched so many damn movies during the 80s. I've seen all of them on VHS already. No, that's Australia for you. We'll chuck names after names just for the dollar bills. Yeah. If you're not sub to this guy, what are you doing? Mikey's Morgue. So yes, feel free to subscribe to Mikey's Morgue. Check out his channel. He's always got good stuff, especially if you're a fan of horror or you're into good music. So here they're bringing on the James Randi guy. What is his name? Carl, or what is it? Carmichael Haig, played by Ian Bliss. And if you see a picture of Ian Bliss, he looks nothing like this character. Like he looks very similar to me almost, but he's got like the goatee and stuff. He looks fancy and crazy, like old school Vincent Price or something. Resident Evil 2 is so classic. The cool stuff you did. Let's see. Mikey's Morgue, how you doing? You off work? When you're rich, you can slap your name on anything and people will worship you. Oh, and you instantly become attractive. It helps. Money helps a lot. Everyone here subbed to Mr. Horror Tuber of the Month. That's Jason Ginger Ninja. He is currently the Horror YouTuber of the Month, our friend Jason. So we are honored to have him in the chat to grace this horror movie with us. Mikey says, no, he's still at work. He has an hour and a half to go. All right, well, this is luckily an hour and a half movie, so we're here for you, buddy. Mikey, that Ivy joint was nice. I always get this films, haven't seen none of the four. Sending out all the love. Yeah, Mayann's an awesome moderator. Pretty much everybody in this chat tonight is a moderator. I see these are all regulars. Kal-El is giving us his Wes Holland Wan, his three faves. He's getting the look from me because he's eschewing Carpenter, Craven, all the other ones we went through last night. That's why the show took an extra 20 minutes at the end to go through them all. You will like them, Cal. Let's see here. Ginger Ninja Pat put in mad work. Fun stream last night. Thank you, Cal. I appreciate it. Pretty leads, that's for sure. Poison Ivy was wild. Great to see as a 13-year-old teen. I remember Poison Ivy. That was when Drew Barrymore had kind of moved on from being like child actor, and then she reappeared. She was kind of one of the first ones to play that role. Jesse Spano did it. They all do it now. It's like, hey, I'm a child star, but now I'm in my 20s, so here's me naked. Nobody asked, but what's up? So yeah, Drew Barrymore was one of the first ones in my lifetime. I remember that. I mean, obviously Brooke Shields was naked young, but that was part of her deal. So when Drew Barrymore got to like a sexy age, she would basically show her boobs wherever. Speaking of that, we talked about Lindsay Lohan's affection for showing her boobs on the Machete chat pinned to the top of this, the Machete watch along pinned to the top of this chat, I should say. So be sure to go give Mr. Bones some love. Pap, Parasite Eve 2 as well. Stay away from this clown. Let's see what you did there. That's a play on words. Our friend Echo Zero Cha. Yeah, I believe he's probably editing right now, but he might be floating around. He's a lurker. That host stream was the wildest. There, oh dear Lord, what stream was that? I remember the host stream. Yeah, one of the streams we were talking about one night, I can't remember which one it was. Everybody in the chat just started discussing hoes and the hoes in different area codes and the various ho-hos and ding-dongs and whatnots. So be sure to go through my entire catalog and figure out which one was the ho stream. I'll get some shorts on my game collection going. Please do. This 70s type movie needs 70s Bush. Oh, speaking of hoes, yeah, that's I think that might be a knock against this. There's no, I don't remember there being any salacious content in this. As I recall, it's pretty straightforward. So other than a lot of the gruesomeness, might be okay to watch with a kid. That was always the weird thing I noticed when I worked in video stores is the people were cool with any amount of violence to show their kids. If a horror movie was rated R and it just was a bunch of people getting cut up, they were fine. But if there was one titty, they were just like, this, I can't watch this with my kids. I don't blame you. It's uncomfortable. It's like people are naked and the kids are here. This is weird. But the violence, you can just kind of laugh at and say, it's all fake. 70s what? Paper, though, not PG. I miss the women of the 70s and 80s. It was a different look than they have now, for sure. The big hair and the big bush. Tan lines. For some reason, tan lines went away. What happened to tan lines there? It's so perfect. New horror movies are petrified of nudity. Yeah, we had talked about that before on one episode, Mikey. I feel like there was, prior to the invention of the internet, it was hard to see naked people. Like if you wanted pornography, it wasn't that easy to get. You either had to go buy like a Playboy and those were kept behind the counter, or Jugs or Gent or whatever. They were kept behind the counter at grocery store or at convenience stores and gas stations and stuff. So it was embarrassing to ask for one, or else you had to go to like one of those stores out on the highway and buy VHS. Nudity wasn't as easy to find as it is now. Now you just show me some good titties into your phone and they'll pop up. Let me see a monster wang. That's all you got to do. So now Christo is, he's tripping. Wow, that's gross. Christo starts having an attack after the James Randi guy starts, calling him a fraud. He begins like puking up black blood or something, and they go to black and white, so it's not so gross. But an ambulance comes and takes him away, and the crowd's all shocked and freaked out and everything. And then later on, we find out he died. So that's kind of weird for a horror movie to have somebody die off screen and for it to be impactful, but it's kind of interesting. Let's see here. But yeah, I feel that the internet killed the movie nudity. The movie nudity star? The booby star, right? The web killed the booby star. There you go. Somebody call the Buggles. Chakan the Forever Man, Mikey's Morgue. Drives me crazy, Jason. Oh, he's talking about Preach, the lack of nudity in modern films. Yeah. Leah Thompson and Howard the Duck, Mikey, for sure. Horror is not supposed to be clean and nice. Yeah, I agree. Like I say, they used it as a lot as an excuse, like especially in horror movies. It's like, oh, hey, everybody's been murdered, but I'm going to go get in the shower real quick. So nowadays they kind of just cut all that out, especially since PG-13 audiences are big horror fans. If they can keep the nudity out and maybe keep it down to 2 or 3 Fs, and then they keep the blood splatters to a minimum, they can get away with a PG-13 rating. So I think that's also probably affected it a great deal as well. The audience for an R-rated horror film is more on streaming. Does anyone here have a mother? Was anyone here born during the week? Exactly. Jason knows that John Edward guy used to get me so bad with that. He would drive me nuts. Hey, I'm sensing someone in the audience is an S. Either you're an S or someone you've lost is an S. Like, you're an ass. Sean 420. Hello, Sean. Welcome. Speaking of 420, I had mentioned this movie was released on Shudder on 420 weekend. It and Rebel Moon both came out on that weekend of 420, and it made me laugh. I was like, you guys know that folks are going to be at home on the couch for this. I love that scene, Survivor. What's up? Welcome, Sean 420. Folks are saying hi. Sydney Sweeney got all y'all 180 boob shots back, I guess. Yeah, she's taken over the place by storm. I'd never heard of her like 6 months ago, and now I can't avoid Sydney Sweeney. But she's pretty. I see how. Folks are welcoming Sean 420. Mikey's Morgue is laughing. What do you hear? What do you say, everyone? Hey, Sean. Hey, Russell. Mikey, you cheeky monkey. Still haven't seen Sydney Sweeney in Immaculate. I hear it's good. I heard it was good as well. I would like to see that one. They often lie on that one. Like if you look up Sydney Sweeney in Immaculate or there's pictures going around, it's not her. It's Kate Upton from, Kate Upton, the swimsuit model. There's some picture of her where she's dressed like a nun and she's got like, bikini top on or whatever. And I've seen like Sydney Sweeney's new film. I'm like, that's not her or that film. So Christow's been taken away, and my man, what the hell is his name? Carmichael Haig. He's already kind of debunking it and saying dude's faking it and everything. So now they're going to bring on the next guest. And like I say, the talk show format of this really helps move the story along, because you can start one story and then you bring on a new guest and start another story, and then the audience can be part of it. His like goofy, wacky sidekick guy can be part of it. The band, like all these talk shows there. Johnny Carson started that. He had Ed McMahon as his sidekick, but then he had Doc Severinsen as the host of his band leader. So then later on, David Letterman combined the two people and had Paul Schaefer, who was like a sidekick and a band leader. And then like Jimmy Kimmel came along and he had a rotating guest host. And then later it was Guillermo, and he had the dude from the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. I can't remember his name, whatever. He was the band leader for him. So it was a very common thing to have your little studio crew of your wacky sidekick and then your the band leader. Also, the Larry David Show did that. Gary Shandling. Not Larry David, Gary. What the hell was the Gary Shandling show called? The Larry something show. Larry Sanders. The Larry Sanders Show. Larry David's a different thing. Larry Sanders Show had the same deal too, with like a wacky sidekick. Even here, this guy kind of looks like Hank. Y'all see that sign? It says applesauce. So they're talking about occult stuff here. And like I say, that's kind of a subtextual theme, like that perhaps Jack Delroy was involved in some crazy stuff, and they're showing that this guest they're bringing on, this young girl, she lived with a cult her whole life. And this is supposed to be like Anton Levay. Anton Levay was like this dude in the, I think 60s primarily, but he was also around in the 70s and 80s. He was the leader of the Satanic Church. Fun modern conspiracy that crazy people talk about is Anton Levay's daughter looks very similar to Taylor Swift. So there are people who think that Taylor Swift is a clone of Anton Levay's daughter. The world is full of crazy people. But anyway, so the Anton Levay cult murders themselves. And then the one girl who survives has to go to a mental home, and they write a book about her. So now her and the lady who wrote the book are coming on as guests on the show. Folks are saying hello. Bruce. Howdy, Russell. Lots in here tonight. It's not Bruce, it's Brucelle. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Man, I don't know what VHS are. So young. Man has no idea. She's too young to have known anything about it. I've seen VHS, silly. And then Jason says, back in my day, pulls out a Betamax tape. Yeah, I actually, I remember Laserdisc. I never had one, but there was a Laserdisc store I used to go to. There was this mall that was like an early version of a dead mall. It only had like 4 stores, but it had a movie theater and an arcade, and then like 4 stores. Old Market Square in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And in there, one of the 4 stores they had was a Laserdisc store. And I had no idea what the hell that was, but I just knew that I would go in there and they had what looked like records on the wall, but all the records were movies, like movie posters on the records. So at first, as a little kid, I was like, is this a soundtrack store? Like, where am I? And later on, I learned what Laserdisc was, and I used to just love going in there and walking around. That was before video stores existed or anything. That was my first exposure to walking through a room full of just walls of fronts of home media, physical media. But I lived through Betamax. Betamax I never really had any of. It came and went quick. We talked about that the other night. Porn put Betamax out of business. But VHS was my thing. I remember we got our first VCR of like Christmas in '83 or something, and immediately went and signed up for a bunch of video stores. Back in the day, you used to have to join video stores. You'd pay like $50 a year to be a member, and you couldn't rent nothing unless you were a member. But I don't want to cause, I don't know where they sell them or how I would watch them. Yeah, that's the thing. They're more like the folks who do watch them and enjoy them, like Gareth, obviously, he gets a lot of use out of his VHS. Most of mine are just glorified trading cards. You know, I kind of keep them around for the nostalgia, but I rarely put them on. But every now and then somebody will be like, oh, did you ever see, did it? I'm like, oh, yeah, I did. I got it right here on VHS. LOL, I like my Laserdisc too. Ginger up to 56 now, 22 CDC. Yeah, Laserdiscs I never got into, but they were so damn cool. In my day, it was 25 cents to watch a movie. Good day, Jason. I heard the Aussie song, My Boomerang Won't Come Back. Oh, God, I hit the flying doctor. Is that what you were singing earlier? Earlier, Russell was talking about how his boomerang wouldn't come back, and I didn't know what he was talking about. I had a beta fish named Max. Mikey gets the bad pun game we're playing here. Flea markets, thrift stores, yard sales, etc. Man, get them cheap anyways. Yeah, especially most of the thrift stores I go to, they're picked over because the VHS heads, the tape heads, they know. But rummage sales, that's first come, first serve. And you'd be amazed at how many older folks want to like clean out their basement, or sometimes like people will pass away and they sell all their stuff or whatever. So VHSs you can frequently find at, same with DVDs. You can get DVDs cheap at rummage sales too. See now, Betamax, I have no idea about. Yeah, you don't need to. It's a better quality version of VHS, but it was bigger and well, not bigger. It was roughly the same size, but it was clunkier and it cost more to make. So that's part of the reason it didn't catch on, is it was more expensive to make per tape, which meant the unit retail price was more expensive, et cetera, et cetera. It's the mockumentary setup that sets the mood, really works well, just like the tunnel. Are you talking about this, I'm assuming, or did I miss something? Hey, Mikey, our main man. Bad robots. I am at war with them daily. I will be the John Connor type running around and ready when it happens. These robots are bad. So here's an interesting scene. We're in a commercial, not a commercial in the movie. And it's gone to the 16:9 black and white. And we see Jack Delroy and the woman who wrote the book. They seem to be having an affair. Like there's some sort of something between them, the way they act, like he kind of puts his nose to her forehead and stuff. They never come out and say it. At one point when the little girl is possessed, the demon in her starts talking about like how she thinks that Jack is handsome and stuff. So they sort of have a weird subplot where perhaps Jack was trying to set this up to boost ratings and things went wrong for him. Like he was having a relationship with the lady who wrote the book, and that's why he scored this interview kind of thing. Hey, Lamonia, Pawn Shot sells 50-cent DVDs. There you go. So like Get Rich or Die Trying. You rule, Russell. Yeah, he does. Man, do you know what a cable box is? Yeah, I bet she does. Love the tunnel film. The cable box. Yeah, Mikey remembers. I hit thrift stores for mine, Pap. I have a game in a movie store too, 3 targets. I swap through 5 days of the week. Jason says he uses AI a bit for work. It's a tool to be used. Exactly. I do see how it does have concern for, like, especially people who made for a long time photoshoppers. I don't know what else you would call them, digital imagerists or something. Those folks, their career is going to be greatly affected by AI. The writing is pretty damn scary. I had an idea of doing a mock horror movie type thing about fear of doing the dishes. And I kind of had ideas of how I wanted it to end and how I wanted it to be in the middle, just like a little 5-minute short film goof. So I put in Chat GPT, write me a horror movie about doing the dishes. And it kicked out or a short story about doing the dishes. And it kicked out like a 10-page script for, everything, pretty much all of it. Then I could pull out what I wanted and put the beats I had already planned in where I wanted them. But I mean, that totally takes a writer's job, but it saved me, what would have been a week of trying to construct a plot. Instead, they just, here you go, here's a framework for you, dude. So writers also should be very concerned about AI. And they are. That's what the last union negotiation was over, not letting computers write any movies. Yeah, Ninja, we are stuck with technology. It's not going away. Yeah. Let's see here. I have the Cars VHS, the Pixar one. My whole house is full of movies. Yeah, Mikey lives in Mikey's morgue is actually a Mikey's video store. He just calls it a morgue so they don't raid the place. Mayanne is young. She never ate candy bonkers before. I don't think I've ever had bonkers either. I might have to Google it. Jinja, is the tunnel good? Scary. I saw the trailer and it showed me nothing but the news part. I don't think I know the tunnel. I think you guys are hipping me to new stuff. May, you ain't gotta lie. Craig, you ain't gotta lie. Mayanne probably knows the cable box. I bet she was a kid. As a teen, I would have 2 VCRs to copy films I rented. I did that too. And then they started making some sort of copyright thing where if you tried to copy one to the other, the second tape would be messed up. There was some sort of copyright programming that would interfere with the ability to record from one VCR to the other. And then they made the copyright eradicator, and it was like a tool that went in between the 2 VCRs to plug in, and it would unscramble it or whatever for your version. I also grew up on the record movies off of TV lifestyle. A lot of the movies I had on VHS at one point or another, like the HBO logo would come up in the corner or whatever. Man says, the fuck is bonkers? Exactly. Let's put in Google's. The fuck is bonkers? I have had bonkers. Never mind. It's like it's a candy from Nabisco in the mid 80s, consisted of chewable rectangular shaped candy with tangy filling. Yeah, as I say, I thought I remembered them being kind of like a taffy sort of. It came in large rectangular package with several of them individually wrapped. Common flavors include grape, orange, strawberry, watermelon, and chocolate. Chocolate sounds nasty with those other flavors. Grape, orange, strawberry, watermelon, and chocolate. Yeah, I'm not big on that. Y'all remember Razzles? They're like little hard candies, and you chewed on them, and they turned into gum. Anyways, May, how old are you? I thought she said you were 98. Well, May's older than the Hills. Much like my friend Bronson, Jeff, 101 Bronson. She's an old soul. That's why we like Mayanne. She's basically a vampire, is what's going on. She's super old, but she looks very young. I don't know what to tell you. Y'all bonkers. Walked into that one. That is a crazy one to have, Sean. I collect Disney and just have sort of figured out I will never see or hear about one. Nice to know you have one, though. Pap, what is bonkers? Mayanne will turn 99 in August. So I will have a May's 99th birthday party sometime in August. I used to tape movies off of HBO all the time. Yeah, for sure. HBO was the main one, or Showtime or the movie channel, obviously. But HBO always had the big Saturday night movie. Like they would, every Saturday at like 7 or 8, there would be the big new release of the week, and it was a big deal. So yeah, those were always the good ones to record. So now the psychic lady or whatever, the lady who wrote the book who has the kid that's possibly possessed, And then she says that there's a monster named Mr. Wriggles, a demon here, that's made the TV explode. And the debunker guy, what is his name? I keep forgetting it. Carmichael Haig. Carmichael, he goes over and says that basically it's a scam. It's a trick used by like how you break a wine glass or a crystal glass by hitting a high note or whatever. It's the same type of thing. So anything that mysterious that happens, the guy is debunking. Like I said, he's supposed to be like a James Randi type. Russell, I was doing that at 14 and it was a 90s tech head. Windows 95 started it all. Bonkers, Cop Them, and Yonkers. Ooh, a little freestyle rap. I'm around the same age, 99. 99. Thanks, man. I noticed you did that. Oh, the link. Oh, of course. Man's a wonderful moderator. Lemonia Demonia, what age are you? She's just the right age. Old enough. Pap, I got that Bazooka Joe for you on the low. Ninth, I was 14 in 1971, Russell says. 14 in 1970. Are you Kelly Leak? Were you on the Bad News Bears? I think it was Disney's last VHS. I think Cars probably was Disney's last VHS. Because they faded out around 2006, I believe. That's when the last VHS mass-produced, as they famously say, is History of Violence. So I don't know. I don't think any other movies came out for Disney after 2006. I'm 98, or in human years, 38. See, just what I say. Just right. Big League. Oh, I got some Big League chew for you. Every time the little thing pops up, when they go to commercials, like how on Saturday Night Live, they have like a still shot and it says SNL with somebody's face or whatever. And like Conan O'Brien would do that. He would go to a commercial and there would be like a still shot of, something wacky, and it would say late night with Conan O'Brien, and then it'd go to commercial. So they kind of do the same thing here, except for the Night Owls show. So there's always like some sort of TV with an owl standing on top of it or whatever. Great time to remind all of you to like, subscribe, and share this channel. I got you, Mikey. Love, of course you do, man. It's awesome. 67 rules. Not as much as 69. Let's see. Carpa's legend, though, Sam, is too. Oh, so he's talking about the horror director thing we were talking about last night. Yeah, I'm a Carpenter and Raimi guy. Russell is my little brother. Oh, she turned the tables on him. He always says that Mayan is his sister. So there you go. Someone tell me about Lemonia Demonia. Who is Lemonia Demonia? Well, she was born a small black boy. And no. Lemonia, where do you live? New Jersey? Pennsylvania. New Jersey, right? Yeah. I don't know. Lemonia, cool. She part of the crew. I try not to ask questions. I always assume she's in witness protection. Machete, good stuff. Yeah, I enjoyed Machete. Me and Mr. Bones watched that earlier. I forgot how many people were in that, like Steven Seagal and Don Johnson and Robert De Niro. Like, there's a lot of extra, like, cool cameos in that movie. Pat Master, you don't even want to know, my brother. Poison Ivy film I watched had Michael J. Fox in it. I never saw that Poison Ivy. I saw Doc Hollywood. Is that the same thing? Oh my God. I'd like to know more myself, Pap. Boats and Hoes? Boats and Hoes. Yep. She's one of my hoes. Well, that's funny because she's one of my boats. What that means. It was straight down hoe stream. Straight hoe down stream. Hoe down. Now, this is interesting. We're at a commercial, one of those commercial breaks where it's black and white, except they're doing split screen. So this is the first time we've seen that move. They're using the 16:9 frame to put the two shots next to each other. So we see both Jack talking to what may or may not be his lover, and then also the little girl who may or may not be possessed. Yeah, man's hoe got a problem? Not particularly. Holler at me, man. Remember Sweet Tarts? I do remember Sweet Tarts. I actually like Sweet Tarts. Actually, I like NECA, I think they're called. Not the toys. They used to make like wafers. They're like basically the same exact thing as those hearts you get at Valentine's Day that say like call me or fax me or sweetheart or whatever. They're like a chalky, powdery kind of mint. No one on earth likes them, but for some reason I like them. They agree with my taste buds. I don't know why. So yeah, I always like the NECA wafer. The Sweet Tart was generally a little too little sour, which is weird because I love sour. So Mikey's Morgue, I ordered a Lamonia Demonia t-shirt. It's supposed to be here Friday. Ooh, you will know who Lamonia Demonia is. You have to learn how to say it like Wes, though. Lamonia Demonia. Oh, boy, here Mayanne go. Well, Mayanne be pimping. I always call her Lady Mayanne. Well, actually, I call her Queen Mayanne, but we'll pretend I call her Lady Mayanne. We'll lie. She's Madam Mayanne. Nice, Russell. I have a copy of M.J. Fox, Poison Ivy in Hand. Good Times, 1984 was his shit at making a shot at making a meatballs following Bill Murray. I've never heard of Poison Ivy. I think I've heard of it, actually. Was that a made-for-TV movie? I think you guys may have unsurfaced an old hidden memory that happens sometimes when you guys bring up these old ones. I think I do kind of remember Michael J. Fox in a Meatballs ripoff. I forgot it was called Poison Ivy, though. You also ordered a Mayanne and I think Echo shirt, right? Oh, look at Lamonia running merch for the Midnight Hour Bones crew. 2006, A History of Violence was the last VHS released. Yeah, Sean feels me. He knows the oddball movie history. Back room of VHS sections. I got a Mayanne shirt, light steel colored. Ooh, that's a good color for a Mayanne shirt. Sweet. Mikey, there's a bit of horror in your XXX movies. Oh, Mayanne, turning the tables on Mikey's desire for nudity. Somebody clipped Donnie's Tata and Dong comments. That shit crazy. Well, that's how you see those things, I'm saying. This was my issue. Well, sometimes, you know what I mean, Cal, you gotta, I often speak from the male point of view, and I have lady friends in the chat, you know what I mean? I can't ignore them. If they want to see dongs as bad as I want to see jugs, you know, what are you gonna do? Everybody got their stuff they're looking for. This is my issue. The spitting scene should never have been CGI. Wes Craven's New Nightmare did this perfectly practically. The CGI aspect of it where he spits at the camera and whatever. But I also think they're doing the black could be bile. Oh, sorry. The first a demon appearance has happened where the little girl does the Linda Blair thing and her face is now starting to like break out. She's got the green eyes and her hair's in her face. So she's having a demonic possession episode. Now, I wonder if the effects on her face were CGI. I think that's probably practical. It almost looks like a different actress. Like it looks like a boy actor. Like they just put a wig on a dude. She's got Felissa Rose vibes. Yeah, the spitting scene. I think in Sam Raimi, we were talking about Raimi earlier. Raimi, when he was making Evil Dead, he discovered that studios hate the color, or studios, the MPAA hates the color red. So if you make blood green or blue or black, they're way less likely to care if there's a ton of gore. But if blood is red and blood is just dripping everywhere and red puddles of blood and stuff, it's an automatic R or NC-17. So with Evil Dead, Sam Raimi figured out green blood, black blood, things other than bright, oversaturated red. So I kind of felt like when he was puking that black stuff on the screen, like they knew not to make it anywhere bloody or gross. But could always been bile. I don't know. Mikey's picks are the greatest. Yeah, Mikey's always got cool stuff jumping off. Mikey's one of my favorite clue me into stuff I never seen. Like he knows all the good stuff like prior to 1985. My strong suit is pretty much from 1980 on, and then I go back and find good stuff prior to 1980. But Mikey's always tipping me off to, you know, this one's about a hot chick who lives in a mental home. It's from the 70s. That's got a dog that's really cool in it. Cheers. Mr. Bones shirt, and I couldn't find the Echo Cero hat. I'll get it next. Oh, the Echo and the Bunnymen hat. Yeah. Which is weird because it has nothing to do with Echo and the Bunnymen, the band. That one blew my mind. There was a band called Echo and the Bunnymen in the 80s and maybe the 90s. But Echo had a bunny ears he used to wear on screen, apparently. So he became Echo Bunny. So yeah, Echo Bunny exists completely independent of Echo and the Bunnymen. Sorry. The only horror is that I have to watch XXX movies. Ooh. I want a t-shirt of all you guys channel. Well, my merch is coming. I've been working on it over the last couple of weeks. I've apparently Teespring is what most people go through, but TeePublic is cheaper. So I basically just want to find some place that has stuff besides t-shirts. So coffee mugs, stickers is the main thing I would like to get. Stickers, beanies, stuff like that. But I already have like 4 or 5 t-shirt designs. Some classic and boring, some cool and interesting. Probably all of them I could get sued over. I mean, you don't have to. Well, he might. Nobody wants this dong. Oh, Mikey, you're don't undersell your dong. Mikey does have the best obscure videos. Have you seen the ones of his dong? Mikey's Morgan's laughing. I agree, Mitch. The blood splurting thing being CGI was, yeah. I wish that could have probably easily been done practical, but like I say, who knows? Who knows what the situations were when trying to film? So the little girl was possessed for a second, and the doctor that wrote the book about her is also like her caretaker. She's adopted her or whatever. So it's like she's her guardian as well as a doctor who's trying to examine if she's got demonic possession or whatever. But my guy, the fake James Randi, Happy Halloween. I'm gonna have to steal that and post it on Halloween time. But the James Randi guy, the debunker, he's like going around pointing out how all this stuff we're seeing is fake and how they could have faked it, etc. So he's the classic jerk in the horror movie, the guy I always say I am. Like, I feel like I would get killed pretty on in a horror movie because I'm the guy that would point out that there's no such thing as ghosts, and then I would get murdered like 5 seconds later. Luckily, I'm fun and likable, so maybe I would come back at the end. I have no idea what that is a clip of. Kal-El just shared a YouTube clip. I'm betting it probably has something to do with boobs. Thank you, Russell. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Happy 420. Mind Freak. Yeah, I remember Mind Freak. Oh, Jesus. I'm Chris Angel, or whatever his dude's name is. Yeah, but if you're in a horror movie, you're going to swear a lot. If Michael or Jason are hunting you down, oh, shit. Yeah, I agree. Like that's why I say the F word, I think, they allow it 2 in a PG-13 movie, 1, something like that. There's a limit of F words you're allowed in PG-13s, but everything else you're cool with. Shit, hell, damn, all that you're cool with. I want a Kal-El Daily shirt, Mikey's Morgue shirt, Late Night Movie Talk, all of you. I want you to, I don't even care if you have one. I just want to see you model it. You modeling the, what is it, Midnight Hour shirt? That's awesome. Ginger Ninja JK, your past thumbnails will make great t-shirts. I would love my logo on shirts and hats. I think it would look awesome. Yeah, the Mikey link, you can see it right there on screen. It's like a toe with a toe tag on it. I remember the first time I went to Mikey's page almost intentionally to figure out what the hell his logo was. I was like, it's some sort of drawing, but same with Macabro, Professor Macabro, friend of the channel, Maxito's production. His old logo was one that somebody had drawn for him, and it was Macabro riding in a Dragula kind of thing. Now he's switched to Godzilla eating tacos, which is also awesome. That is my 90s era. In the year 2000. Yeah, Conan. I love me some Conan. Oh, man, that's so awesome of you to say, Pep. Oh, everybody loves him. Curb Your Enthusiasm? Yeah, exactly. I got the wrong Larry there. It was Larry Sanders, not Larry David. I enjoyed that one, Cal. It's a dry humor, but I grew up with Monty Python. Yeah, me too. I love some Monty Python. Used to be on PBS here in America. Taylor Swift clone, LOL, Attack of the Clones is going to be a reality. That's what makes me laugh. How did anybody ever come up with that? That Taylor Swift is a clone of Anton Levay's daughter? Like, I mean, it would explain her success, but other than that, huh? But if you look at a picture of Anton Levay's daughter from like the 80s, she looks a lot like Taylor Swift, but she's like 20 years older than Taylor Swift or something. My favorite show is The Sopranos. I enjoy The Sopranos. So many great quotable lines in that show. Bada bing. The boat named the Stugatz. 50 Night Survivor of VHS when Conan does the Hulk. Yeah, exactly. Mikey, I was going to say I have The Sopranos season 1 box set on VHS. I do too, actually. You know what? I take that back. I don't. Right when DVD and VHS flipped over and I started collecting DVDs instead of VHS, one Christmas my mom got me Sopranos season 1 on VHS, and I didn't tell her, but I returned it and paid $10 extra and got the DVD set. Lady J Ghoul is here and she's lurking. How you doing, good lurking? Right on, Survivor. Great show. Hi, Lady J Ghoul. Lady J. Everybody's saying hi to Lady J. So cool. You saw a Laserdisc store. Made my day, night rather. Yeah, it was back in the 80s. But do you remember when Tron video game was out? Did you ever play the Tron stand-up game? I remember going and playing Tron for hours at a time, and then I'd get bored, I'd run out of quarters or something and go wandering over and look at the Laserdisc store. Lady J, Little J, Incredible Universe store. I had Captain Harlock and Captain Future, I think, and my mom had Gone with the Wind and The Godfather on beta. Wow. Yeah, I never had any betas. Sometimes people have tried to give me betas, and before I became a big collector of physical media, I would always just turn them down and be like, don't have no way to play them. Now, if somebody gave me a beta, I'd be like, hell yeah, cool, I'll put it with the rest. I remember sneaking into the over 18 section at the movie stores. Yeah. A lot of them had, the rated R movies would be out, but there would be usually beaded curtains, like sometimes like how hippies have. They have like the beads you put in front of a door that you walk through. There would be like an old closet in a video store that they had converted into a tiny porn room. And there usually would be the beaded curtains up at the doorway. And there would be a big sign over it, like, you must be 18 to enter this section. So like as a kid, we would always like act like we were looking at movies in that area, but try to like see into the beaded curtain room to see what was on the covers. Ultimate Electronics. It was a soundtrack Incredible Universe with McDonald's built into the store. It was so big in Denver, Colorado. Wow, I've never heard of that. Ultimate Electronics. Interesting. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Lady J. Ghoul, or as you would say, hello, monsters. Beta did not hold as much data. VHS is a tank outlasting Warner Brothers disc rot. Okay, so there you go. So each one had to be bigger, I guess. Okay. Like I say, I know that the supposed urban legend is that VHS became the dominant format because porn adopted VHS because it was cheaper to make. So people wanted to have pornography in their homes, and they because before you used to go to the theater and sit with other people and watch pornography, and that wasn't cool. So when the VCR came out, folks wanted pornography in their home, and for some reason, porn decided VHS was the format to put their stuff on. So it became the dominant format. That's a crazy way for things to happen. Let's see here. Jason, I'll watch your video when I get home. Oh yeah, you gotta vote for the Horror Cat Dad. Fitty. Oh, he's talking about Get Rich or Die Trying. A modern film I've seen. What's going on? Hi, everyone. Pugwall is here, and you've seen this. Oh, I didn't know you had seen this one. I'm glad you're here, Matt. My friend Matt is here. He and I, what do we have coming up to watch? I believe Richard Munchkin, something or other, right? I need to actually make sure I have that. I can find that. Hey, are you a freaking Satanos worshiper? I might be. Depends on the day. I just mentioned you, Pugs. Howdy. Everybody loves Pugwall. Matt is, if you're not familiar with Matt's channel, go there, check it out, check him out. I support everything Matt. Now we know after comment Jinja Skynet run. Mikey, you have every seasons on DVD, found them outside a house on a sidewalk. That's an awesome way to acquire all of those. Hey, Matt, what a find. Russell, you someone didn't set them down and stole them? Yeah, maybe they did. I'll just go take my 7 seasons of Soprano or whatever it is for a walk. The Tunnel is great. Really well made, creepy Aussie film. Yeah, The Tunnel is brand new. I don't think I've heard of that until this stream. So you guys might be putting me up on something. Dub them tapes, the VHS block. There was an easy workaround. Yeah. They were bootleg DVDs. Puggy Smalls, my guy, what up? Remember Candy Cigarettes? I do remember Candy Cigarettes. Actually, I thought about them just now when you mentioned the Big League Chew. It's like they used to do that as a kid a lot. There'd be like little fake packages of cigarettes, but they were just like candies. They had that same Necco flavor, the like powdery kind of like chalky mint flavor to them or whatever. I just found a bootleg of the 13th Warrior on DVD. Pretty decent looking until you see the CDR disc. Yeah. Piggy Smalls, baby, baby. I'm in the T- model Terminator. Oh, there you go. Puggy, Ninja, infrared beard. There you go. Infrared beard. That does explain a lot about Jason. He's going to be blank years old August 5th. So Russell will achieve timeless status on August 5th. Be sure to join him for that. Old enough for what? Had a crush on Marsha Brady actress. Cars are the last VHS for Disney. Had to be pre-ordered, though. Their website for members only. That sounds about right. 2007. Yeah, I was going to say. I knew Cars was right at the end. That's why I didn't remember it on VHS, but I wouldn't have been surprised. Did it come in the big clamshell, I bet? Like all the Disneys did. Was never really for purchase directly other than that. Necco Chalk Candy. Yeah. The mint one was good. Chocolate was dirt. Oh yeah, the brown ones. That's even when we were talking about bonkers, I was like, don't be mixing chocolate in with fruity flavors. That's weird. Lizard people won't allow it. It's just like pissing on hospitality. The Possession is a Jewish exorcism film. Is that the one you're talking about with Sam Neill and Isabella Johnny? Wow, I pulled that one out. Yeah, I watched that, The Possession I'm talking about. I watched that on Shudder. That was one of the, when I originally sprung the money to get Shudder, the main things I wanted were to see this when it came out, and then I wanted to see Possession and Near Dark, and then all my Joe Bobs. And as soon as I bought this, Near Dark left and went to Tubi. I was like, son of a bitch. I've been waiting for it to be on Tubi for years, and then the time I finally get this, it leaves and goes to Tubi. But I did watch Near Dark last night, so we may have a watch of that along with that at some point as well. I have lots of thoughts on it. Great impression freaked me out there. I thought I was in the morgue. Mikey. that's why I like the Mikey ones. He hips me to new stuff, and I'm like kind of fascinated. But what's there really to say about some of these horror movies? Just give me the premise and then just tell me why it's good. And that's what he'll always be like. It's a fun plot. It's about a lady who gets possessed. The chick's kind of hot. You might dig it. Cheers. Right? That's all you need. Don can take over my channel. I wouldn't dare. I need my daily touch of Mikey. Kal-El says, too much dong, more snatch. The world is a perfect balance of dong and snatch. That's how we all got here. Well, some of us. Are y'all test tube babies? Which one of y'all test tube babies? I use Teespring. One day I'll sell a shirt or sticker, mug, etc. It's a dream. Actually, I was thinking about ordering the Pugwall shirt because that logo you have is what is that? The old Memorex? Maxell? What the hell is it? You told me once before. Damn it, I'm drawing a blank. Sony? No, it's not Sony. Maxell. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank. But the Matt's logo, it looks like an old classic VHS, the VH blank tapes that I would buy in bulk. And you buy like 10 of them and record stuff on them. Yeah, Pug, that's what I figured you had rolling already. Mayan's still here. Oh, thank God. Sean's leaving. Peace out, all. Have a great night. Thank you for hanging out, Sean 420. I appreciate you, buddy. I know you got it's 420 somewhere always. That's what I like about Sean. He's always got to get going. Sorry, guys. I got a smoke thing coming. I got to go. Mitch has to leave. Got to head off. I have learned today that I want to live stream and make t-shirts with my dumbass logo on it. Thank you. Mitch, you are more than welcome. We got to get you up here on a stream one of these nights when you're not at work. Night Sean, just subbed to you, Mitch. Cheers. Oh boy, you folks you're a lively crowd tonight. I like it. Where did I last leave off? There's where I last off. Night, Mitch, later, Sean, Mikey's Morgue, logo on a rust or all black tee. Survivor, VHS, cool. I need to watch that. Right on, Pep. I was a huge Conan fan as it was on MSNBC, first free in the UK. It was amazing to actually have US TV, so many great skits. Yeah, I as a kid, I was a big Carson and Letterman fan. And then when Letterman left to go to CBS and they replaced him with this unknown guy who wrote for The Simpsons and for Saturday Night Live, and I'd never seen him before. And it's like this lanky, redheaded guy, all pale and stuff. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this show. And within like 2 episodes, I was immediately hooked. I think I watched like the first season, every episode. And then actually, Andy Richter used to follow me on Twitter at one point before I deleted that whole nonsense. Conan the Man. I feel I need another full watch of The Sopranos. I do too. I saw the first few seasons, and then I moved to Michigan, and we didn't have HBO. And then I moved back to Wisconsin and got HBO right as the show was ending. So I watched the last 6 episodes leading up to the famous finale. but I missed everything in between those last 6 episodes in the first 3 seasons or whatever. So there's like 2-3 seasons I need to watch. Dang, Mikey, but you're not even subbed to me. I'll forever only have 14 channels that like me. You take that back. Everybody loves Mayan. Conan was boss. I did like Jay Leno. He was hilarious. Leno took over. There was that whole thing where Letterman thought he was going to take over for Carson, and then Leno took over, and then later on Conan took over for Leno, and then they wanted Leno back, and they ran Conan off, and he went to TBS. There's a movie called The Late Shift with all about that, but that doesn't get into the Conan stuff. But there's a whole lot of gossip. There's all sorts of like books written about what a debacle all that was. Oh, let's see here. Me Too Pap. Leno was hilarious, especially with his headlines. Hey, do you guys hear about this? There's a thing with a guy with the stuff on the thing. You know what I mean? That was a limited fake Jay Leno. Pug, good seeing you. Hey, lady. It's time for headlines. Yeah, there you go. That's a very late night talk showist. In the movie I'm not watching, that I'm trying to catch up with the chat, they've gotten in old buddy's head. He the James Randi guy, Christow or whatever, Christow's the other guy, Carmichael Haig. Geez, the Carmichael Haig guy, he hypnotizes the Hank character, the sidekick, the Ed McMahon, Andy Richter dude. He hypnotizes him and he makes him believe that worms are crawling out of him, and he has like kind of a psychotic episode in front of the whole audience. Once again, proving that you can manipulate people with hypnotism and stuff, because that's what he thinks that the doctor is doing to the girl who's possessed, that he's hypnotizing her and causing her to behave that way. It's a very cheaply made movie, but it's well done because it's dialogue driven. The people, they kind of, for everything that happens, the old buddy who debunks it is right there. But then again, there's the flip side of it. Well, how do you explain that? And, it's a good tug of war between philosophies of whether you believe or you don't believe. And after The Exorcist, anytime you have a teenage person possessed, it's always going to be good. Did anyone ever go to the theater to watch porn? Pee Wee Herman, apparently. Travis Bickle in Taxi Driver, he took Sybil Shepherd to go see it. Like in the 70s especially, Debbie Does Dallas, Behind the Green Door, and then there was another one, Marilyn Chambers, a bunch of them. It got real big in the 70s. People in the 70s, I don't know if it was all the drug use from the 60s or what, but in the 70s they got way into like, being more sexual, man, like free love or whatever. Like, so there was a lot of just more acceptance of porn type stuff. But then in the 80s, things got real puritanical again, and that stuff became filthy, disgusting. It really just depends on the era. That probably also contributes to the lack of boobs in modern horror movies. We're in a very puritanical era right now. Those boobs are demeaning to women. Not if they're proud of them. Shit. Theater to watch Triple X, but that's awkward, right? Like I said, Pee Wee Herman got in trouble for it, and apparently back in the day, folks would, go to the theater and do what they do need to do themselves in the theater with other folks there. Like, yeah, that's not my kink, man. No kidding. Tell Pee Wee Herman that, man. She's always right there with me. That's why I like Lamonia. That's why you're old enough. Yep, man. There was also something called Playboy. I've got a Munchkin playlist all set up for you, Don. Yes, thank God. Hopefully those Munchkins are on YouTube or somewhere so I can find them. Matt is the key route to me even being here. Oh, Matt is the one who I need to be mad at. No, I'm just playing. Yeah, Pugwall is, like I say, frequent collaborator. He's part of 3BB, the Three Bland Bitches, with me and Horror Cat Dad. I prefer Three Amigos, but Three Bland Bitches actually is more accurate. Playboy, I know, but Triple X Theater, yeah, especially when back in the day, you used to go into theaters and the floor would be sticky because people would spill pop and stuff. But if you go into a porn theater and the floor is sticky, I'm leaving. I was thinking that too, Lamonia. I have a Pee Wee Herman pull string talking doll. So do I, 59. Sound doesn't work anymore, though. Big League Chew, LOL. The artwork is funny, similar to Mad Magazine. Yeah, it had like this Raleigh Fingers looking guy on the front and big mustache. Here, kids, it's chewing tobacco, but really it's gum. You can pretend you're your dad. Oh wait, so I watched the movie New York Ripper, and it has a scene of a theater showing Triple X. You mean to tell me that was real? Yeah, that was actually, I think, in uh American Werewolf in London. I think the movie they go to is a porno movie, the one where they're all sitting in the theater talking about how dude should kill himself. Yeah, that was a real thing people used to do. It grosses me out. There's nothing I want less than to have an erection in a room full of strangers. Same here, Lamonia. I saw a YouTube video with a lady that actually repaired it. Took some work. Oh, the drawstring Pee Wee Herman. New York Ripper is a great movie. I see 17 likes here so far. Not too shabby for 2 to 4 a.m. Thank you all for all of that. I appreciate it. If you haven't liked and subscribed yet, be sure to. But other than that, I'm grateful for anybody who drops by and even says hello or clicks on this for a minute. You all are awesome people, and you're way too kind. Wow. So there, we're getting to the good shit. It's got to be getting close to the end, right? There's 1:18 and there's 1:32 in the movie. So there's literally like 14 minutes left. The little girl has gone full on demon, and her head is burst into flames, and there's like this crazy CGI thing, and her eyes lit up, and she's like shooting lasers out of her mouth. It's, she's full on monster at this point. And she takes the sidekick guy, the one that had the hypnotism experience, and she makes him spin his own head around and crack his neck. And then she levitates the doctor and slices her throat, like just using her imagination. So basically this demon is murdering everyone. And then much like James Randi, this guy, the Carmichael guy, he offers money for anybody who can like prove actual events. Like James Randi always had a thing where if you can prove ghosts are real or demons are real or the paranormal supernatural is real, he'll pay you $50,000 or whatever. And nobody ever collected the money. So here, as the demon is floating and fire's pouring off her head and stuff, he pulls out the check and kind of holds it up. It's sort of a funny moment, even though it's a heavy. There's no real laugh in it because it's just a heavy scene right now. And then we go to static because of the TV went blank. Feedback, I guess would be the way to call it. And then in the static, we see like a demon head, kind of like White Noise with Michael Keaton. And now we've got the station difficulties logo up. But we're coming to the ending that people do not like, or they wish was different or something. So they're going back to the beginning, and they introduce Jack, and he comes out, and he's all crazy and like messed up, and he's trying to figure out what happened. Like, was that all a hallucination, or what just went on? And he looks all haggard and disheveled because he's seen a bunch of crap, and now it's not going on anymore, and he's confused. How did I get here? And the audience is laughing. Like I said, there's a bunch of people in the audience who were wearing Halloween costumes, in particular the silver shamrock skull mask. And I kept waiting for like the real devil or someone to be revealed under one of those Halloween masks, but that was something that never really came through. Yeah, that dude sitting there with the skeleton outfit on is just ominous. Test tube Taylor clones. There's a movie coming out. So now dude he's like confused because he just watched everybody, get fried or whatever, and all this craziness going down. And the show started over, and he's lost and doesn't understand what happened. And now the caveman, he's in the middle of a skit. So like, how like we were talking about Conan doing those skits on his show and stuff. He's in the middle of the skit, but he's like freaking out. He's like, 2 minutes ago, I saw everybody die. What the hell? Got the new garbage pail kids set to open today. Really? So now he's having a flashback to this giant, disgusting worm. And they have like like these shows used to always have somebody from the local zoo come on and bring animals. Here, Johnny Carson, hold this hedgehog or play with this monkey or whatever. So first, the zoo lady has a giant, disgusting slug worm. So it kind of shows you his mind he's losing his mind. Basically, he knows he's seen the effects of the whole movie go down, but now it's all gone away. So his brain is fried. And now he's talking to his recently deceased wife. So he's having, he's tripping. His hair's turning gray right in front of us, the old ghost story legend. So here the station difficulty sign is melting. And he's once again starting the show over again. He's completely like his mind's unraveling before our eyes. Oh, let's see here. New York Ripper is great. I was hatched. I am the Lizard Ninja and the Ninja King. More enemies for the crazy 88s to deal with. Ooh, yeah, right on. Scotch, that's what it is. Thank you, Matt. Duh. There's so many damn brands that I forgot Scotch. I should have known. Worms, fuck. Don Mega Ice. Body horror, Society for Body Horror. Yes, Ice Cube. I like the reveal of the New York Reaper, but the movie, it's a hard watch for her. Society is underrated, Russell says. It is. So now, yeah, Jack's brain is like completely devolving. Here he's like, he's doing a skit for the audience, and like the cult people from the beginning at the Bohemian Grove have come out, and just all sorts of things that don't make any sense to what's going on are slowly piling into the frame. So as an audience, we're supposed to be just as confused as he is. As if the part where the man puked up black vomit and then died in the ambulance, and then later on the possessed girl, as if all that wasn't crazy enough. Now we have to have the unraveling of his mind on screen. And the Anton Levay guy who showed up, the leader of the Satanic Church, he's telling him this is going to be at least a 40 share. And there's a giant owl standing there with all the costume people, and the owl just hugs him. This is crazy. Where is it?
I saw the whole thing. It was awful.
There. Bet y'all didn't know I had videos queued, did you? Yeah. Daddy got all sorts of new toys. Not to mention, if any of you try to leave.
Security lockdown initiated. All doors closing.
Thank you. Let's see here. I did like this film a lot, but I think I'm guilty of building it up too much. It was one that I wanted to see bad because I heard nothing but good reviews. That, and people told me about the Night Owl thing. So, of course, I had to see it because of that. And I dig the subject matter. I mean, part of what I'm doing here is clearly inspired by the late night talk show people. Between Joe Bob and David Letterman and Conan, you can pretty much figure out why I decided being up late talking about stuff was a good idea. So here, like I say, his mind is unraveling, and he's sort of like both in his TV set world, or the set of his show, and then his mind. So he walks over to the side of the stage, and his wife is dying of cancer right there in front of him. And, he's reliving all that. Yeah, she's explaining to him how, you can't sell your soul to be number one. And she's happy that he finally made it, but he had a price to pay. But it's really, you can just tell his own emotional state, like unraveling more than it is actual realism. It's like surrealism. This movie is great. The chick is really hot. Check it out. Cheers, Mikey. Mayann's got her written Mikey impersonation. No, Laura Gordon is the lady in this movie who's with the little girl. Did I say somebody else? Mayann, friend's mom. She's a dog. Zombie proofing. Your mom's friend? You can take my channel over to Mayann. Yeah, Mikey's Morgue, now run by Don and Mayann. Don and Mayann's Morgue. No, I also need my daily dose of Mikey, right? That's the problem. I would take over Mikey's channel because Mikey's stuff is cool, but I need Mikey to do it. It wouldn't be good if I did it. No, my friend's mom will make you wish you were blind. Ooh, that's bad. Oh, okay. That's where I got confused. When I was talking about the animal people, 59 Survivor talks about Steve Irwin. He was an indirect relative of mine. Mom's maiden name is Irwin. And then Mikey says, Laura Gordon is hot. What a good looking woman. And then Pat Master says, Laura Gordon is a porn star? And that's when Mikey says, no, Laura Gordon is the lady in this movie with the little girl. Yeah, so that's how we got off track there. All right, I'm all caught back up now. That Share Fitness workout video, Mikey. Burn your eyes out. So here's the very end where he's been talking with his wife and she's explaining to him and he's watching, reliving how she's dying again. And then he snaps out of it and comes back to reality. It appears as if he's done all this. Like he's back in real life and everybody's dead. Like as if he was hypnotized and did it or possessed by the devil or whatever. And then it just says end transmission. And ends kind of, almost open-ended. Like I say, I interpret it as that he had a breakdown and did all that, but then other people would say that maybe it was, done by the demons while he was possessed or whatever. But yeah, I always take it that it's all the stuff that was going on in his mind. He was, imagining stuff as he was murdering these people or whatever. I don't know. What do you guys think of the ending? Do you think it's do you think it's worth watching? Do you think it ruins it? A lot of folks say that it should end 10 minutes sooner. I think it has kind of like a devil's advocate kind of ending or something. Like, the movie we watched was going on in someone's head or imagined or whatever. Yep. There's the credits. Survivor. Man says she likes it. Yeah, I liked it too. I think, like I say, because it takes place at Halloween, because it's got exorcism stuff, because it's a Shudder, big time movie that people talked about, and then it's also got that like 70s throwback stuff going on. It appeals to a bunch of audiences. I could see this being a Halloween movie that people check out. A lot of people who see this compare it to Ghost Watch, which was a British show that they did in the 70s, perhaps, I think. I don't know, maybe it was the 80s. But it was a live broadcast where they basically faked, it was like Paranormal Activity, except they played it off as real. They went into a haunted house or a house that folks said were haunted, and then they filmed a bunch of stuff. And, over the course of Halloween night, you had, all these people, go through crazy, Hell House type of stories, right? Whatever. So a lot of people, when this came out, were really talking about Ghost Watch again. I saw Ghost Watch back when Paranormal Activity came out because people were talking about it back then. I always thought Ghost Watch was in the same vein of like found footage, even though it was live, as Last Broadcast. I don't know if you've ever seen The Last Broadcast. It came out right around the time that Blair Witch did, but I like Last Broadcast way better. Blair Witch is iconic, and it it reshaped the land. It sort of reshaped the landscape of horror. I think that's the right words. So you can't really go against Blair Witch because it has such an impact on all the movies after it. But I kind of enjoy I would watch Last Broadcast again before I would watch Blair Witch. Let's see here. That is how Silent 3 is. Heather sees monsters, but to others they seem as people. Weird game. I love it. Have to rewatch. I want the Shallow Hal vision. Oh, where everybody looks beautiful, or looks yeah. Some Zach Baggins action. Oh, don't get me started on Zach Baggins. Actually, I was talking to you about it, 59th. I'm checking out a bunch of local folklore for some project. I haven't decided what it's going to be yet, but a lot of the local folklore stuff I've been checking out. I've also been watching a lot of reality shows of ghost hunters and, I survived a haunted house or whatever, celebrity ghost stories, all that crap. And Zach Baggins is the worst. If anybody here has ever seen Demon House, that's one that I think it plays all over the place. Demon House is a Zach Baggins movie. So if you've never seen Ghost Hunters, you can watch Demon House and get the idea. It's about a haunted house in Indiana. The movie's a documentary. It's full of crap. But yeah, Zach Baggins as a dude, he's not my type of people, I don't think. But I do like his haunted museum. I would like to rob his haunted museum. Blair Witch did this, did for FF as iconic found footage. They can't deny that. Oh, for sure, yeah. But even then, like I always think of Blair Witch as like the main cog in the found footage machine. But when we were talking about King Kong, when I watched that, King Kong, before that, the people who made it did a found footage or mock documentary type film about some people who went to far away savage land where monsters and women were together and stuff, apes and whatnot. So the idea that found footage, it's been around since the 1920s, like I said, that one Last Broadcast came out right around the same time as Blair Witch. Why am I drawing a blank? Cannibal Holocaust. That's essentially a found footage film as well. It's done differently, but that style is one Blair Witch often gets the credit for, but it's a thing that has existed for a long time, even though folks don't really talk about it. But that one Blair Witch is, that changed the landscape for everything. I like everything but her look at the end, but think that's because she's taken over TV and all that jazz. Better get to work. Such a lovely group. Great to see you all. Good call on Ghost Watch. Covered it on the video about this film too. Check out Don, Larry, and me this weekend. Oh, I didn't realize you did a video about this film. I only watched yours afterwards. I wish I would have watched it before. I could have stole a bunch of your ideas. But thank you, Pugwell. You rule, Matt. That's my guy. 3BB, baby. And you have a happy spring season. Okay. Blair Witch successfully integrated internet and rumor mill gone wild. That's the big thing about Blair Witch that most folks don't talk about, is it was the first one to really use the internet. Like, they created a website. So when they would put out teaser trailers and stuff, they would just like give a little glimpse that might scare you. And then they'd be like, go to blairwitch.com. And then all these people went to the blairwitch.com and like dug into that early website. And that's where folks thought it was real. They're like, look at all these pictures and stuff. This is clearly a real thing. And, I think after you watch it once or twice, you kind of know no, that's not real. But that was part of the appeal. There was some discussion of, is this theatrical or is this, is it live or is it Memorex? Good night, Matt. Later, Matt. Be safe. Cheers. Have a good day, Matt. Everybody's like, yeah. Don't like found footage films. That's the thing too. We talked about that with oh goodness, what did I watch the other day? But found footage films in general, most folks don't like them. Even the term just turns people off right away. They're like shaky cameras and people running and all that. Very awesome folklore leads to stories that leads you to movies, Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you and I talked about before. You're into the cryptids and whatnot as well. I told you I live near the a famous Dogman site where people often see the walking Dogman. But I'm also about an hour away from a lizard person sighting and a couple hours away from a bog monster or a skunk ape or whatever you want to call it. I loved Blair Witch when I saw it in the theater. I haven't liked it since. I remember watching it in the theater, and before I went, there was all this discussion about how people were throwing up in the theater. They were so scared. And I was like, holy shit, I don't know if I want to go see that movie. That sounds too scary for me. And you get in there and you watch it and you realize, oh, they're getting seasick. The camera's shaking so damn much that the folks need Dramamine. So, yeah, a lot of it, same with the website that made it seem like it was real. It was more hype than it was actual content. But there was cool stuff in the content about like just people having a nervous breakdown in the woods can be terrifying. That Blair Witch remake in 2016 or whatever, the follow-up film, that was awful. That was a terrible movie. Whew. His museum is crazy in Vegas. I'm afraid to even go in there, being force sensitive. LOL. Yeah, I'd like to go to that museum and see it. I believe, did he purchase the real Annabelle after the Warrens died? I don't remember who has it. But anyways, that he has all that cool stuff, the weird shit. I have the Blockbuster exclusive released found footage release of Blair Witch. Awesome find last year. Yeah, Blockbuster had a separate video they sold only in Blockbusters. The Curse of the Blair Witch or something, Burkittsville something or whatever. But yeah, they had supplemental materials, like an extra VHS you could buy to go with your one, and it explained the whole witch and everything. Man says, let's go to sleep. Yeah, I think it is time to go to sleep. That's the only one I liked. Oh, I'm assuming you're talking about a Last Broadcast, perhaps. Much love to you kids. Good night, man. I'm so glad you were here. It wouldn't have been a party without you. And I'm glad we got to watch this together. With you, man. Oh, everybody trying to follow man to bed. Sweet screams. Good night, Chuck. Oh, I love it when he calls her Chuck. Mikey, you silly goose. Be careful, Mikey. Her man's got a gun. Later, man. Good night, Diamond, everyone. Good night, man. That film got me sick. Was Cloverfield. Not to throw up, but I never looked at Popcorn Butter the same. Yeah, Cloverfield was another one with lots of people running with the camera, so it was just shaky footage. Night, Ann. I subbed up. Well, good. Mayann's awesome people. She was horror YouTuber of the month for November, I believe. So she's got bona fides. But let's see. Blair Witch Project is friggin' terrifying if you watch it correctly. Well, that's what I mean. If you can identify with the characters and sympathize with them, especially if you think it's real, it's whoa. But I think a lot of folks find the ending somewhat unsatisfactory. I think I don't know what else ending you would have other than the witch showing up and killing everybody. But yeah, the first time I saw it, I enjoyed it. I didn't feel like it was great, but I could see why people would dig it and how it got so much critical acclaim. And then I watch it maybe like every 10 years or so. I'll see it on or I'll put it on. I always have it. I'm one of the weirdos of the world who actually likes Blair Witch 2. I know that's embarrassing. Last night, Cal asked a movie that nobody else likes that you stand up for. And me and Jason both said Maximum Overdrive. I'll throw Blair Witch 2 Book of Shadows in there. I'm one of the few people who enjoys it. That's a weird ass movie. And there's so much going on in it. Cannibal Holocaust. Oh, you enjoyed that one. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Well, I think that is a good time to wrap up at 3:25 a.m. I have watched a double feature today. At the top of the chat, you will notice pinned is a link to Mr. Bones' Horror Peep Show, where we watched Machete earlier. So I've closed that down, ate a couple cheeseburgers, and threw on this. Last night I watched They Live. The night before we watched Room 237. The night before that I watched Big Trouble in Little China. So, and then on Friday this past week, Larry and I had a long Star Wars discussion. So if any of that tickles your fancy, you can find all that on the front page of Night Owl Movie Talk YouTube, or I should say YouTube / Night Owl Movie Talk. Russell says, wow, got 31 likes. That's awesome. Thank you so much, all of you, for hit like. Thank you for 31 people dropping by. I'm lucky enough just to get that. Blair Witch 2 is great. Special features are great. Yeah, that's what I mean with so much going on it. Like if you watch the special features, you learn there's all these like hidden words that are spelled backwards. The secret of Erezever or whatever it's called, reverse backwards. And then like certain scenes, you'll see a tombstone, and then when they cut back, you'll see their new words on the tombstone and stuff. So there's all sorts of weird stuff going on in Blair Witch 2. So it makes it rewatchable. Had a great time, broskies, living and breathing film. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us, 59th. You're awesome. All of the Cloverfields, Mikey, Mary Elizabeth Winstead is one of my girls. You be pimping out a Mary Elizabeth Winstead the way that Mayanne pimps out Lamonia? I love Maximum Overdrive. Me too. Curtis. Well, I thank all of you for joining me tonight. Such a lively, fun crew. I would run through y'all, but apparently there are too many of you to even name. But Pat, May, Russell, 59 Survivor, Mitch was here. Mitch is always fun. Mikey's Morgue, the King, you know what I mean? Lamonia Demonia. Vio Tasties was here earlier, but he hasn't seen the movie, so I'm glad he took off early. My buddy Pugwall, Matt, was here. That's right. It's Mr. Scotch Tape himself. Ginger Ninja, the horror YouTuber of the month. Be sure to go check out his channel and vote for Larry under the nominees this month for the horror YouTuber of the month. And I'm sure I missed some folks. Oh, Cal L. Daly, of course. Cal, Superman. Can't forget Superman. But yeah, overall, all of you came and went and hung out for a little bit and contributed in some way or another. I always say the co-host of the show is the chat. So I couldn't do this without you guys and the folks who watch the replays. I usually give out half my views on live watches and half my views on replays. So all you folks who are nice enough to watch the replay are extra cool with me too. I thank all of you for hanging out. You guys are magnificent. Respect to all. Damn straight, my man. So I will wish all of you what I always wish you. A wonderful night, success and luck in life, and green grass and high tides forever. Adios, night owls.